Josh's Auto. So today we have a 2018 F250 that 828 Adrenaline Flunkies has sent to me. So he wanted to spruce it up, put some emblems, some mirror covers, some new wheels and tires, go ahead and level it out. And we're going to go ahead and do full front end lighting, back end lighting, putting backup lights in underneath the bumper. We're going to go ahead and put some new tail lights in, new headlights with some upgrades in them. So we should be able to make this into a pretty sharp looking truck. He wasn't going for super big and wasn't trying to go over the top showy with it, but just wanted to give it a nice new character and bring it back to life a little bit. So stay tuned and follow along. Alright, right here we have a Ready Lift suspension leveling kit. So, previously opened the box, but just to make sure everything was here. So, came with a nice set of instructions in color and everything. So, and they do specify in their instructions that they do show the parts that you're going to be installing with this kit in red. But you can see all the parts are black. We've got brackets, new hardware, another big drop down bracket, all this. And this behemoth here, this is actually the spacer. So looks pretty nice, got a nice rubber insulator that's going to go in on top of the coil spring from what I've read in the instructions already. So we've got another one here, drop down bracket for the sway bar end link, or I'm sorry, the sway bar itself. And we've got two of them. So out of the box, everything looks pretty heavy duty, looks real nice. So thought I'd just show a little unboxing, and I'll go ahead and get started pulling the wheels off the front of the truck and get to work putting this in. So let's keep going. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. As the instructions state, we're going to take the lower bolt out of the shock here. We're going to undo this bolt for the brake line and go ahead and drop down the sway bar. I'm going to go ahead and take out both sides. There's two bolts here, 15mm socket on that. The brake line is a 13. And then it's a 18, and it is a locking tab or a speed tab on the back side of the shock. It looks like you could put a 21 wrench on the back side if you wanted. So let's go ahead and knock that stuff out. instructions showed like how we pulled this spacer out of the box. This isolator was on the bottom. In the instructions, we're going to put it in like this. The spacer on top of there. That's going to sit in there like that. I'm kind of OCD, so I always try and make sure I can get the spring, the bottom coil, as close to where it was at the factory location whenever I set it back in. Now most of the time you'll see the indentation of where it was. Let's go ahead and lower the front end down some more. And instructions will tell you to pull on that line. Alright, that's good. Actually, get down just a buzz more. Perfect. Alright. I'm going to take this isolator from Ready Lift, set it up top. Also with my OCD, I'm going to face the logo out. Go ahead and start pumping up. There we go, that side's located. We can grab a block to keep this side in place. Side, it's much easier to go ahead and take the shock loose on both sides. Do one more pump. Perfect. It's much easier to go ahead and take the shocks loose and brake line loose on both sides to get the axle to come down low enough. Alright, now that we've got it down there, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side and put the isolator and the coil spring spacer in. Alright, so as you can see, we have the isolator, the lift spacer, the factory isolator, and down here, this extension for the shock is very tight. As you can see, we had to sit there and fight with it a little bit, tapping down on it to get it in there. It is tight just from where this bolt was tightened up from the factory. It'll pull these tabs in a little bit. So, well, we got them in and got them tight. So we still have the factory bump stop. We're gonna put an extension on it and put it back in, and then we're gonna put the spacers back in over here, or spacers in for the first time for the sway bar, and then we do have a drop down bracket for the brake lines still to put in.